If you truly knew who you were, let's talk about who you are. You are an ever expanding, evolving point of consciousness, which means you are never meant to be in the past. You're meant to constantly be growing. And when you know that truth, you freely release your attachment to past thoughts, past habits, past behaviors. And in that freedom, you become a conscious creator. You take control of your life because you freed yourself of the past. And the past holds you back. The past creates thoughts of limitation because the past is limited. The future is not. The future is wide open with infinite possibilities. The key thing is, if you know this, why aren't you living it? What if Jesus was real? And what if he came down and he was talking to you, having a conversation with you, and you were saying, how come you weren't there for me? How come you didn't do this? How come you didn't do that? What do you think Jesus would say? He'd probably look at you with love in his eyes and say, I've given you everything. Why haven't you used it? I've given you everything. I told you. My mission was I come here so that you can have life more abundantly. This I do, you can do and more. It is done unto you as you believe. It is not I that do this. It is the Father, the power, the infinite within me that is within you. And he says, I gave you the key to infinite expression, to infinite love. Why haven't you used it? What would you say? Well, I have fear. And he would say, fear of what? We make excuses all the time to not be a greater expression of us. And why do we make excuses? Because we don't feel we're worthy. Our self-worth is so low that we'll make excuses instead of accepting personal responsibility. This message that I'm talking about is not just Jesus. It's any of the great spiritual avatars. It would be Babaji, it would be Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Krishna. All of the great spiritual avatars taught that the power is in you. But yet we don't want to accept it. We want to stay in our victim mode. Why? Because everyone around us is in our victim mode. Everyone around us pretty much is in the victim mode. And so we don't want to be left behind. Hold on. You weren't meant to be held back. You were meant to soar. I invite you to consider looking at your life today and seeing what is it that's been holding you back in? Does it make sense? You have the power to be as healthy as you desire. You have the power to be as wealthy as you can desire. You have the power to have as great relationships as you desire. But it's not just about desiring them. You've got to become the frequency. You've got to become the vibration. You've got to think the thoughts and have the feelings and take the actions that are aligned with that desire. Because just because you desire something, it doesn't come to you because you have got to what? Believe it. And a belief is nothing more than your thoughts, words, actions, and feelings aligned toward a specific result held persistently and consistently. Not just for a moment, persistently and consistently. So you've got a whole day ahead of you today. What are you going to do with it? Who are you going to be with? How are you going to show up? Are you going to show up as a victim or a creator? Are you going to show up as fear or are you going to show up as love? It's always your choice. Don't think it's not, because then you go back to being a victim. I love that I have the power to choose. And rest assured, sometimes I say stuck and choose to be a victim because I too am human like you, and I forget the infinite power within. But we're here to remind each other, to hold each other higher, and know that the past is not who that other person is. It's just an experience that was created so that we can move on to the next new one. Life is a blessing. It is good. You just got to see it that way. Reclaim your power today. Figure out, what can I do today to be more authentically me, to be me, not somebody else. And you're not here to please anyone. You're here to create. With that, my beautiful ones, make this your best day ever. And remember, only you can. Much love and aloha.